Congratulations on Detroit.
Thank you, man.
What an incredibly powerful film. I still feel like my heart is like still beating hard and my breathing
When
is
did you
shallow.
watch it?
I watched it this morning.
Oof.
It is fresh.
Cool,
It
man.
is fresh, and I've got the shakes as a result. It's just such a remarkable story that I'm curious that as a British gentleman in your 20s, tell me about connecting with this really specific 50-year-old slice of American history. Were you getting crash courses in the Detroit riots or just connecting to these characters because of the strength of the script?
I think it's interesting. Most of us in the cast didn't know about this.
Yeah.
British or not.
I would say the same thing. I'd never even heard of the Algee.
So there was a level of unity in terms of like research and information, and we all helped each other to get to a certain point in performance, and it felt collaborative. But for me, the issue of race is fortunately not just specific to America. It's all over the world, and so we get to share. We get to have an element of empathy. It gives us a window into the struggle, because we have our version of that in the UK, and it's everywhere. So those general lines of race and the topic wasn't too far of a jump, but it was much more about Melvin Dismukes as an individual man. For me, was the journey I needed to take.
Sure, let's talk about Melvin. He is a security guard, of course, who sets out to do the right thing and defuse a situation that spins horribly out of control.
Crazy.
This is the first time you've played a character based on a real person, is that right?
No, I played a character based on a real person in Imperial Dreams.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I have done one before, but I can't remember.
Well, tell me, in cases like that, tell me about what level of responsibility or challenge there is to portray a person who's based on real events, especially when the event is something as incendiary as something like this.
I mean, yeah, it takes quite a lot of that feeling of responsibility. Feels like a weight. The first few weeks of just learning you get the part and then having to do the prep for it, and then but I was able to speak to Melvin himself, and we had an in-depth conversation about him, his life, you know, the circumstances obviously that he got into during this time, things that happened outside of this, just to give me a 360 perspective on him. So it didn't feel like a performance that was just to cater to the subject rather than to the man. The man is the character, and the character is shoved into a circumstance he wasn't ready for. So my fixation was on him, and that in itself it felt like a responsibility. But he was like, you know what, you got this. You will always have access to me during shooting, and I'll always be on the phone. I won't be on set, but I'll be on the phone, and yeah, go do your thing. And I felt like, okay, cool.
You're covered.
You're covered,
from afar, at least. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than that. Imagine just messing that up and then you ruined my life.
Oh, for sure. And you get one shot at this story, especially when it hasn't been told for 50 years.
Exactly,
at least in mass media.
And it's one of the biggest way the story can be told. It's Catherine Bigelow, it's Will Poulter, it's Algee Smith, all these great artists, and you know, have to come hard.
I understand that a lot of the film was shot in sort of a semi-improvised manner, in part to keep the cast on edge, right, emotionally. Clearly the results speak for themselves. It's remarkable. But in practice, was that just grueling?
No, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I come from drama school, in which the process is open to that. Craft is something that is not celebrated enough on sets. You're not given sometimes the freedom to be able to explore character and explore options, and you can't always. Time is not on your side. Money's been spent. You know how it goes. But on this set, you know, it's great that Catherine has the creative freedom to be able to do what she wants and be able to go through the process however she wants. And she just so happens to be an actor's director that just absolutely gets it. She gets that when she calls action, you know, sometimes you want a beat to just simmer into the scene before starting. You don't want to feel on schedule for every single performance. And I mean, the movie speaks for itself in terms of the acting. It brings out the best in actors. I hope everyone else follows suit, because it's a cool way to work. It really is.
It does.
It's really cool.
I'm fairly sure, as we wrap up, that I'm legally obligated to ask you something about Star Wars. I know that you can't really say anything about Last Jedi, and I understand that Finn's in a coma the whole movie anytime, so that's fine.
Yeah, the whole film.
Tell me a bit about what Rian Johnson brings to the series. What kind of energy does he inject into the saga?
Apart from good looks and a six-pack, he's creative. He's unique in his creativity. very unique. It's one thing I noticed, because I'm a big, you know, Star Wars fan, and for me, what I wanted to see in this second installment is an expansion to the universe, so that you feel like Star Wars will have some longevity. We have a lot of spin-offs come in, we have the main films, and I just wanted to see that, okay, there's going to be more for ideas to explore, right, within this universe, and Ryan does just that. So you can know that, you know, Star Wars just bought itself a whole other 100 years after this one comes out. I assume this is about what went on at the motel.
What happened at the motel?
You don't know, I tell you. I was working security by Wisconsin, and on Tuesday night, we heard gunfire coming from the area near the Algee. Police was there. There was a lot of shooting. When I went in there, 3 kids had been killed.
No. So they were killed right before you got there.
Sir.
You carry a .38, right?
A revolver. You carry a revolver.
I do have a .38.
You ever shoot anyone?
I didn't do it. Police.
Oh, here we go.
Here in Detroit, a city of war, violence continues.
We've made state police and National Guardsmen available. I'm declaring a public state of emergency.
It's a war zone out there. They're destroying the city.
Police! I'm just going to assume you're all criminals.
You don't talk about this to anyone ever. You understand?
This city has problems, but change is coming.
I told you what I saw. I'm trying to help here.
Change is coming.
They're kids. What's the matter with you?
Change is coming.
They're gonna kill us, man.
Change is coming.
I need you to survive the night. Survive the night.
Melvin, you want to go home?
What happened at the motel?